Welcome back, my friends and fellow gamers. I'm Wrath, and we're back for Space Engineers. This is our solo survival game, and it's been a while since I've played, and I made one slight adjustment during the time that we were away, which is that I believe I added a weapons mod that would help with here it is, the laser weapon mod. So because of the lack of certain raw materials, I've opted to have a an option to put in weapons that will laser weapons, so that if I can't find any magnesium, these will at least hold me in good stead. So I want to check the inventory of the vehicle and see what all we have. So we do have some iron. I do have a bunch of iron, some cobalt, some potatoes. Some nickel, cobalt, silicon. So I have basic needs taken care of. So now it really is about finding a location that I'm happy with. Now, I'm not really happy with this location because these bunkers are all ridiculous. So we're going to keep pressing on here. And I'm just going to adjust my view here so that I can see what's ahead of me. Now, the only downside is that being that zoomed out, I can't really see the terrain all that well. We do have our advanced scanner on, probing out to really ridiculous ranges of like 250 meters. But I need to reduce my overall allowed speed, because otherwise this thing has a tendency to flip. Oh, what are you? That's silicon. Alright, we don't really need silicon, and I'm of a mind not to even mark it. I don't think we're gonna stay in this area, even though we found a bunch of resources in this area. I'm of a mind not to remain, and purely because of the fact that the bases that we've found thus far have not been all that charitable, shall we say. So I want to find a better place, and I think that going over the horizon here is really going to be my only option now. That looks like that might be a ravine there. Alright, here's some more cobalt. That's always good. But again, I don't think we're going to mark it because I don't think that we're going to be going to be staying in this area. I think we're going to make a long haul, and if I'd been smart, or if I'd had the cobalt at the time, I would have made this a flying ship just so that I could cover more ground, and then I probably would have had more room to build a shape that was conducive to maybe having a small refinery as well, because I can't actually refine the minerals that I picked up because the survival system only allows for the refining of stone. So it's completely useless for that, and that was a limitation that I had not been aware of, that was an oversight on my side, because I should have considered that and been ready for it. And instead, I got what I got. Yeah, we took out a tree. Terrible driving. Now, all I have really to... what are you? Okay, we've got a new contact, nickel. You know what? I'm going to stop and mine some of this up. Just because I never picked up an actual supply of nickel. So, picking up some... What are you? You're stone. Okay, I don't care about stone. The probability that we're going to survive in any of this is really low. Now, nickel I'll actually use quite a bit of because of the need for batteries and for power. Since that's going to be a near constant need, I can expect a regular need for it. Alright, let's check this rock off this side here. I don't want it to come over to my vehicle, so... Alright, let's do a little bit more here. Alright, let's see here. Nickel, nickel. That was ice. You know, I'll keep the ice. Nickel, nickel, stone, nickel. Alright. One load of nickel shouldn't hurt. Let's see here. Toss that in. That'll probably get absorbed by whatever system is around. Let's see here. Toss that into medium cargo container 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and press onward. Since the sun's coming up over there, I'm going to assume that that is the east, and we are going to roll that way. Mostly because neither of the mountains are in that direction. So I'm hoping that that will yield a better, more prosperous space for us to set up shop. As we want to be away from these signals as best as we can before they go active and or hostile. And I definitely want to have a position that has been fortified at least a little bit against possible intrusion first. We'll keep an eye out for any other signals. Whoa! We're getting a bit too much speed here. Let's ease off the gate. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Now, ideally, what I'd like to find is a location where I have a little bit of room to dig in, where I have a good, strong material resource, maybe like the side of a hill or something that I can get into, and I need a good ready access to ice, and that can be in the form of snow if necessary, which we have right now, but I need it to be capable of meeting my needs here. So I'm kind of just pushing along, and the big thing that I'm absolutely trying to find is magnesium, because without magnesium we have no way of, I have no idea how powerful or lack of powerful these laser weapons are, whether or not they have a range issue or anything. I simply have no room for comparison for them. So setting up without an idea of what can be done seems very dangerous to me. So I kind of want to set up a base near at least one, like if I could find a underground iron reserve, that'd probably be the thing that makes me stop and say, okay, I'm setting up a base very close to this point, because that's a resource that we're going to need a lot of, and an underground mine is generally bigger than what we can get from these little guys. I have a feeling, though, that based on my experience at this point, we're probably going to have to cannibalize this ship in order to build a new base that will be equally temporary as the last one, in that we will have to actively find or actively build, rather, a larger permanent vehicle that will be an airborne equivalent of this, that will be capable of taking us into a long-term I don't know what you would refer to it, a long-term battle plan. So, and that's going to probably be a significantly bigger ship than this vehicle, because if I'm going to do it, I'd rather not have to do it more than once, or at least not for any extended period of time. So we would probably plan a vehicle that was designed specifically to be what would be the appropriate way of phrasing this? A mega structure, a planetary mega vessel, like a helicarrier or something. I think would be what we would have to end up constructing, purely for the fact that there's really no other way to build it. And in order to power all of that functionality, we would need to basically build a significant infrastructure. So I'm not looking forward to that prospect without finding a ready supply of iron. And I'm hoping that maybe if I get one of the larger strong sensors, that its range will be even more significantly extended than the one I currently have, so that I'm not so tightly confined would be my concern. Let's turn what I'm assuming is north just based on the sun's positioning. So if this is north, maybe the side of this mountain might be the appropriate place, but it is quite a slant here. We haven't run into any other known enemy bases yet, so that's at least good. And if we set up, we're gonna need to create a solar tower. Oh, ground signal, iron. Oh, right, this is it. This will have to be, unless that's a rock down there. Which, nope, this is a ground source of iron. So this is de facto where we are going to put ourselves at. So let's find a semi-level spot here, and I think that we're going to actually go right into this little crater here, this little ravine, and forcibly level it ourselves with some grids. And that will be, let's back out here. That is excellent. This is, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's an ideal spot, but it's certainly close enough to being ideal that I will go for it. I don't want to build directly on top of the iron mine itself, so we'll move a wow. Oh, this is a big spot. That iron extends for quite a ways. And there's multiple sections of it. Okay. So yeah, this little ravine area then will be our go-to. Puts us near the mountain, so if I have to run for stone, I can, and we can build. I think we are going to build a mega ship though, because there's no point not to. We're going to need to generally be mobile, so building a planetary vehicle that is capable of getting us what we need is going to be the main ticket item. So let's start by getting some steel plates here. Let's toss the wastewater. Alright, so that should give us enough. And we're gonna set up right through here. So I figure just a grid right across at this level. So we have like a little indentation. There'll be some space underneath. Maybe? I don't know. I'm starting to second guess my decision. That place looked a lot lower and a lot more ideal from the cab view than it does here. But this spot may be that'll take a lot more to bridge. Let's look at the other side of this here. Okay, this I can work with. This is doable. So let's angle it here, and then let's just run all the way across here. Now the one thing I do like about this game is, or well, I do and I don't like, is that the game ignores structural integrity almost to a ridiculous amount. Like, if you tried to build out like that, the metal would buckle. You know, you would have to build out from both sides in order for it to work at all. So, you know, that part of it is a little bit unrealistic to me, but I mean, realism's for other people, I guess. We'll jump right off here. All right. And there's a part of me that's kind of regretting having used these in the first place, since I really should be using these guys, since they require less than half the overall component cost if I decide to fill them in. And that could probably be a significant thing. So I'm gonna set these to match, and I'm going to fill in the rest of it with this. We'll just kind of hand wave those big ones away as the primary girders, as it were. Let's set the perimeter. I'm not going to worry about the little ones, I just want the major ones. So as long as they've got at least part of their edge under the dirt here, that will do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Alright, and we'll just keep filling this in. And then once this is filled in, we'll move the vehicle onto the pad here. And we can start laying out basic elements. Now, one of the things that we're going to have to build very early is power. And the only way we're going to get a good power system is, of course, by building a solar tower. Like, we can use wind, it's not as efficient, or it's not as powerful, but we're going to need something to power everything, and by my experience, that usually means a strong solar tower using Izzy's solar script so that it tracks with the sun, and that's going to be our choice for this process, is to use Izzy's an Izzy script tower. And we're out of metal plates, so let's go back and find some more. Ship should have some more, if I remember correctly. There we go, there's some more. That's in connector 3. Where is connector 3? Are you connector 3? Yes, you are. Okay. Alright, that's not going to be nearly enough, so let's go give the assembler some instructions here. Oh, the assembler also has some, which we should be able to access through here. So there we go. And let's tell the assembler to go ahead and produce 200 more of those. And let's get back over here to our construction project. And as you can hear, it's the 4th of July, so all the fireworks are going off. They're making me very edgy. Just so much stuff been going on recently. Explosions don't sit well with me right now. So I've decided not to go and watch those because, one, it rained horribly here, so there's not a lot of places where you can go see it where it's dry, and with all the corona stuff, it just seems like bad news all the way around. So I'm just kind of ignoring it and avoiding it. So is my wife, so we're kind of on the same page with that. The kids did go out and watch it, and that's cool. I encourage them to do so, to ignore their old manning fears and do what they feel is right. Okay. So we're just about done with the platform here. And we're just short. Alright, well, that's not terrible. And I like the fact that this position has put us well away from the alien signals. That is definitely a benefit that I am very happy to have. Alright, let's go finish the last of this up. Fill in this side and the other side, and then we will be done and we can begin the real work. Because even though those are far away, the range on those can go as high as like 15-20 kilometers. So there's no telling if one of those will become hostile and active enough to come at us. So while we're building here, we're going to be very, very conscious of the fact that we need to be aware of our position. And I just bought the DLC for this game that gives us the hinges. So I'm looking forward to using those because I have a lot of really good ideas about using those for things like retracting landing gears and such. Hopefully they will have the necessary force to do so. But we will see. Alright, the basic platform is done. Let's go ahead and bring the truck down so we don't have to run all the way over here. And then we can get to work. Alright, we're directly on top of this iron deposit, so it is ours. Alright, so I want to set the power system up this little rise here, just because the deformation of the rocks there makes it easier for me to say, well, I can just use that to my advantage. So we're just gonna use that to place a ramp here that goes up. And we'll just I think that should be good enough. Let's square this off here, and we'll switch here just for a second. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so we'll set here, and we will cut out the middle one, and instead we'll put in a rotor. Alright, and this one we actually do need to place a control on it. So we'll carve out this spot so we can set it up. Get out of that crouch position here. Alright. So what was all the stuff that was needed for that? Alright, so 4 tubes, 4 motors, 2 computers, construction components, steel plates. Okay. Do I have any large tubes laying around? No. Okay. Let's do 10 of those into production. Alright, let's go put this together. Those signals are always such a pain. Alright, forgot 2 computers. Alright, let's go. Food and water are good. Alright. And then we'll assemble the top of this. And 6 more large tubes. Okay. Good thing I made them. Huh. That was fortunate. Oh, crap. That's a problem. See how it's, shoot. We're gonna have to make this thing really high, which means more resources. Oh, I need more steel plates. So that is an unfortunate element here that I could have done without. Alright, I'm gonna need a whole bunch more steel plates. Let's see here. Toss that in, toss that in. Production. Let's just start pumping out iron plates because we're going to need to go up a pretty significant height. In the meantime, let's see here. Okay, I can't do programmable blocks. I need to build an interior light first. Okay, well, as dumb as that is, let's do it. And we'll just put it right there. There we go. Now, programmable blocks. There we go. So now I like to put these as part of the bottom of the tower itself, because then your tower controls are basically at the bottom of the tower. Okay. Displays motors. So I need 2 large tubes and a display and more steel plates. Let's go to inventory. All right. That'll do. Yada yada da da. Put up the control plate. Alright, it's going to remain offline because we have no power. But that's fine. So I'm going to try and do a combination tower. I've never tried this before, but theoretically it should work. Which is that I'm going to do a tower that uses that has both solar panels and wind turbines, so that it can generate a significant amount of power regardless. So we'll see if that works or not. Okay, so how many steel plates do I have? Because I'm going to need to, this tower is going to need to be really tall in order to circumvent that rise there. Alright. This should be a good start. So we're going way up. What to do? Actually, I think I'm mistaken by putting this here. You know, let's tear this down here. Let's place a new one. All right, let's place a new one down here. Okay. Place all the materials back into that one.
Inventory full.
Stupid steel tubes. Alright, so that'll be the control. We're going to take this one off. There we go. And it's just going to be steel plates all the way up. So 2, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Shit. Now we have to move. Over there is the spot that we need to be at. Oh, I hurt myself. Alright. So leave this here. Let's take the vehicle and scout out a spot up there. We'll leave this platform as the iron mine, but in order to have a base, we're going to have to move out of the shadow of this hill. Okay, good enough. Where's my medical bay? Right there, okay. Let's replenish our health and our power. Unfortunately, our H2 is low, and there's not much I can do about that. Do I have my bottles? Yes, I do. Okay, so we're actually not that bad off. Alright, so let's see here, GPS, current position. Oh. Let's see here. All right, so let's turn the engines on here. What just broke? We break something? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Alright, doesn't look like we broke anything, but who knows? Too hard of a turn. Over there is where we want to be. There's so much iron here. Whoa! It extends out this far? I may not even need to go back that far. This is like a huge iron plate. Okay, and there's more iron there. So let's angle this way. I want to find the spot where it's cutting off over that hill. So we are out of range of the iron now, but we know which way to go to it, so it's not a problem. And we can go back and recover all of those resources, no problem. And we're really lucky that we found all of that iron. That's a huge deposit that we can just grind through. Alright, check the view. Alright, so it's already passed over, so that shadow will cross over here. So yeah, right about here is going to be good. We'll just put the tower up high enough that it won't matter all that much. Let's go just over this way here. Alright, I like right here. Okay. Iron plate, steel plates. Okay. Okay. We start with one here, angled that way. Set all of these off from it. So that'll be like the one anchor footing to start the whole thing. Okay. Again, this is going to be a big space here, so I keep overdoing it with these, in all honesty. Yeah, that's too big. That's too much of a waste of resources. That's too high. Let's go for right in the middle here. That should put it at the lowest possible point. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So, faux pas aside, we should be able to use this as a platform to build a base off of. It's not the best start of the day, I know, but we have access to a massive iron mine. We have a good solid plan moving forward, and we can design a few vehicles. We can make a defensive fallback point. So all in all, not a bad deal. So now I've been thinking, while we've been doing this, I've been thinking about not just what I'm going to do immediately, but future plans. So putting up a base like this is fine, but I need a long-term strategy to help me get anything done. If I want to have anything reasonably important done, I'm going to need to have a long-term strategy. So my idea is I'm going to build sort of a 2.0 of that vehicle, but airborne, with a full refinery, maybe not a full refinery, a light refinery, and a functioning assembler. So the basic amenities for a small size, for a small base, and I'll use some of the resources to give it. If I have the resources, I will make respawn capable there. It's probably not likely that it's going to be respawn capable, simply because with the way that the ore spawns are working now, if I try to spawn on a location that is, or if I try to build a medical facility for respawn purposes, I need, I think it's like silver or gold for the medical components, and those are on an Earth like this, they're few and far between. So if we get lucky enough to find, you know what, that'll be good enough. Let's get the vehicle on. We'll be lucky enough to find that in the future with some concerted searching, but I don't think it's something that we can plan on having access to. So instead, what I'll do is I'll plan out a vehicle that is a survey sampling vehicle with basic mining and storage capabilities, so I can go and find them, pull in resources, and put it into the cargo hold as refined ore or refined ingots, hopefully. And maybe that will help us with the basics. I don't know for certain. Okay, put that on. Let's go. Let's get to work. So alright, assembly. Oh, crud. I need steel plates, and I don't have any. Okay. That should give me enough to make some steel plates. And then we're going to go back and we're going to reharvest all of that stuff, because I can't afford to leave it there. Alright. Okay. Alright. So, dropping a base GPS right there. Let's go back and harvest all that stuff up. Throw it in the ship and get to work. Alright, since we're on open plains, I think we can pop the speed a little bit more. Ooh, looks like it's going to be an eclipse. That's cool. See where the iron first shows up here. There. It's just amazing how much iron there actually is. I have an idea for a vehicle that can just strip mine through all of this, which would be very useful. Alright, let's get the chopper out and tear this all down. First of all, first things first. Let's cut down all of this stuff here. Alright, we've dropped off all of our stuff. Let's start taking on the big things first. This one and the rotor. Let's put this specifically in that rear cargo bay so that we can make use of it later. Now the rest of this should be just steel plates. Huh? Let's get some water here. Alright, that should keep us good for a while. Okay, sorry for all this double work here, but that's going to be the end of this episode here. Now that we have found ourselves a home, we're ready to start really developing a base that will maintain us for a lot longer and will likely need to be defended. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please turn on your notifications so you can see when I put out new content. I am trying to get back into things a little bit better here because I know that I've been sort of lacking for a while. And that's just been due to the whole process of having lost my job and getting back into the flow. I now have a new job that I will be starting soon, so I'm able to rededicate some time back to doing game stuff because I now have free time because I'm no longer 24/7 in search for work mode, trying to make sure that I've got everything squared away for my family. So, for those of you who shared your prayers and stuff with me, thank you very much. I appreciate all of the support. You guys are amazing. And until next time, I'm Wrath, and I will catch you on the flip side.